So not only can I not believe that this is happening, I can't believe how this is being covered by almost all the media and all groups related to it. Now, what this is, for those of you who are unaware and haven't heard, California recently voted to and passed changing how they will be punishing people who knowingly infect others with HIV or knowingly donate blood without disclosing that they have HIV. I have to emphasize that part because this law emphasizes, or this revision of the law emphasizes that part. They're very specific. They're very detailed that this is knowingly and intentionally. So I'm going to be repeating myself a bit. But I have to keep reminding everyone that this is real and this is what the fucking law says. Okay. So there were a few people who got together in the California State Senate or State House or whatever they call it over in California. And they wanted to revise how the punishment for people with HIV was dealt with, because in basically every other state in the union, if you have HIV and you knowingly try to infect someone else, or you knowingly donate blood while having HIV and not telling anybody, in either case, then it's a felony. Well, they wanted to change that, and there were a couple of reasons. The major stated reason that's been going around and has been covered by everyone is that they wanted to remove the stigma of having HIV, that this should be seen as not something to be afraid of if someone else has it, that you're unfairly punishing people who have it, and in particular the LGBT people who have it. And that was a big part that they really latched onto, that this was an LGBT rights issue because reasons. And that's what everyone who told the story ran with. Every news organization, every group that was involved with this, they all ran with the theme that this was a win for LGBT rights because reasons. Okay, first of all, this is going to hurt more than it will help. I can guarantee you this. This is going to put people into fear and paranoia levels of panic. Because this went from what was basically a 5 to 10 year state penitentiary punishment to a 6-month stint in the county jail. That's it. That's how much it's been reduced. You can intentionally infect someone with a disease that is permanent, and you will get 6 months for it. Wow. Ain't that a kick? And going back to the whole, well, it's an LGBT rights issue, the idea is that because predominantly LGBT people have HIV, it is then an LGBT issue. So lowering the penalty for doing this really insane, horrendous thing, would then be a benefit to the LGBT community. Let me follow along with that train of logic for a moment. Gang crime is a felony, I believe. Should we then make gang crime, particularly gang violence? Let's say you're in a gang and you go rob a store and shoot someone in the shoulder. Should we then charge that only as a misdemeanor because gangs are predominantly black and Latino, so this will be a minority issue? If you think that sounds ridiculous, congratulations, you have fucking common sense, and you are smarter than the entirety of the elected officials of California. That one is a bit hyperbolic, I grant you, but it's the same fucking idea. Just because something predominantly affects a certain group does not mean that it is then a rights issue of said group when it's a fucking crime! There's a reason that intentionally trying to infect someone or donate blood while having HIV and not telling anybody is a felony everywhere else, because it is permanent. You will be stuck with this for life. This is scary shit in that regard. If you are open about it, if you talk about it, if you tell people you have it, you'd be amazed at how often they'll be like, oh, okay, that's fine. I got no problem being around you. I know that it's the only way to get it is through blood or bodily fluids or something like that. I got no problem being around you. What you do is you educate people. You don't change a law like this so that if they get a disease that is permanent and could kill them, that you go, oh, it's just a slap on the wrist. We don't want to make the person who has HIV and did something horrendously illegal out to be like the bad guy. That's just wrong. So then I have to question, is the state of California going to cover the medical costs of anyone that gets infected with HIV from this? Because I can almost guarantee you there will be people that will do this now because it is so much less an offense. It's this kind of thing that I hate to sound like a cynic, but this is how I feel. It's this kind of thing that keeps people from randomly murdering others. That it is a life sentence. Otherwise, we would see a lot more people dead in the streets than we do right now. I can almost guarantee that. If you lowered the penalty of murder from life to 2 years, 5 years, you'd probably see the murder rates double. Again, that's a cynic in me. I might be dead wrong on that. I'm willing to debate that. I'm willing to hear the other side, to hear different opinions on that one. But it just, why would you think that this is going to help anybody? This is going to create a panic. And then the other reason that I've heard that has been said a little bit less, but has been said in some interviews, is, well, we live in the modern age. We have modern medicine. We have cures. We have pills. We have all these wonderful medical advances. You should be able to live a long, full life, even with HIV. So that's why it shouldn't be a felony, because it's not a death sentence anymore. Really? That's the logic you want to go with, huh? Really? Okay. Well, we live in an age where getting shot with a bullet will probably not kill you as likely anymore. We have modern medicine. We have technology. We have ways to heal you, ways to repair your bones, to transplant the organs, to put in new blood, to fix that up. We shouldn't make it a felony that you tried to murder someone intentionally, because, hey, that would be just, we don't want to make gun owners look bad now, do we? What kind of bigot are you? Again, slightly hyperbolic, but it's that same fucking idea. This isn't so far removed. I'm glad that the internet as a whole looked at this and said, what the fuck are you doing, California? Because no one else seems to. The government seems to be perfectly okay with this, or at least the California government. I don't know about the federal government. I'm pretty sure they might be a little bit pissed. The media revolving around this is perfectly hunky-dory. They aren't thinking long-term, because why the fuck would they? all of these LGBT organizations, there are a few that actually have come out and said, this was kind of stupid, but the majority of them that have been involved with this have said, this is great, this is a wonderful rights victory for LGBT people. And I'm sitting there going, what are you smoking exactly? How did this become a rights issue? What? My biggest fear is not even the sex part. Because at the very least, even if you hide that you have HIV from your partner, they can still request to see tests. They can still say, no, I'm not going to take a risk. I'm wondering if this part of the law only applies to California, or if it's anyone from California who's somewhere else. I'm thinking you have to specifically be in California, in which case I'm pretty sure there's going to be a bit less sex happening in California. But the part that has me absolutely terrified is the blood donation part. That you can now donate blood without disclosing that you have HIV, and it only constitutes a 6-month stint. A 6-month stint in the county pokey. There will be people that will do this because there are some sick, sadistic motherfuckers out there. And the testing process isn't foolproof. I can almost guarantee that something will fall through the cracks. And there will be blood floating around that comes from California that will have HIV in it. Someone is going to get that. They're going to get infected. It is going to either kill them if they're already in the hospital for something major, or it will be a permanent thing, and then there's going to be a gigantic lawsuit followed by a mass hysteria panic because someone got HIV from a blood transfusion. That's the part that scares me, is that this isn't fucking, because the blood part isn't fucking confined to California. Blood travels all around the country and even all around the world. Someone is going to end up in a bad way because of this. And there is going to be hell to pay for everyone from California because of this. I hate when government officials do this happy, feel-good shit, and they don't think about the long-term consequences of anything involved. And this pisses me off, that people just flat out refuse to acknowledge this, that they aren't looking at this, that they aren't thinking long-term and realizing, hey, this could backfire in a bad way. I hope that this gets reversed real fast, because this is going to create a fear more than it's going to help. And I hope that, I don't hope that anyone gets infected. I really don't. But if they do, I hope that the government officials that help pass this law get charged with manslaughter if someone gets infected. This is something that will last with a person their entire life. This is nearly a death sentence. In some cases, it will be a death sentence. In most cases, it will just be a permanent issue. That, to me, seems like intentional manslaughter. All to make themselves feel better that they did a thing. Congratulations! Go fuck yourselves. This has been Math Machine being pissed at California because they are so fucking stupid. They have put the entire country, if not the entire world, at risk of something because they wanted to feel good. Ain't that grand? Peace out.